Hello, hello, hello. My name is Audrey Hamilton, and I am the Entrepreneurial Assistant. I am a virtual assistant, inspiration coach, and a social media manager. And tonight we have Kimberly with us. So, Kimberly, do you kind of want to share a little bit about what you do, what your likes and dislikes are, and stuff like that?
Hello, everybody. Good night. It is really so great to be here. Likes, dislikes. Okay, I love dancing salsa, and I was out
Okay,
salsa dancing last night, and it was pretty cool just to relax and not worry about anything. So,
that sounds fun.
yeah, it was pretty good. And then because today is a holiday, I got to stay later, so I didn't have to worry about work or anything like that. It was really cool.
Mhm. Awesome. That sounds like fun. I've never been salsa dancing, but it is something I want to learn how to do sometime. So, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun. So,
Pretty good
what
stuff.
is something? So tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know you're a mom.
Right. So I am a mother. I live in Kingston, Jamaica. So I live in paradise, first thing. All right. I live where there's sunshine all year round. And sorry for those who live in the cold climates. I don't. So I live in Jamaica. I am a mom of a teenage boy, 14 years old, Justin. I love people. I love conversation. I am a life and financial coach. And I love working with women, supporting them on their growth journey towards a legacy that, we all want to create, and we all want to leave a legacy for our children and our children's children. So I love having conversations surrounding life and legacy with women, preferably um, women over 35, but I have conversations with all ages.
Which is nice because someone like me, I'm interested in that kind of stuff, but I am not 35, and I have another 13 years to go to reach that age.
No
Or
woman left behind. So again,
yes,
every situation is unique. So I just love to have conversation. So wherever you are, and let's have a conversation and see, where we are and what we can do to make things a little bit easier.
yeah, that is really cool. So, what is your mission statement?
Mission statement is that I help women who are overwhelmed by life and money decisions to build confidence and create legacy.
Okay, that is really cool. How long have you been in your business?
Oh, wow. So I've been coaching since 2014. I've been doing life coaching since 2014. I've been doing financial coaching 3 years now. So I integrate both life and financial coaching to provide legacy building coaching. So yeah, since 2014.
That's really really cool. What got you interested in that kind of stuff?
Wow, that's a good question, Audrey. So in 2014, earlier, let's go back to about 2011, 2012. My most invested business failed. I started that business around about 2011, 2010, thereabout. And in 2014, that business failed. And I was left stressed, anxious, worried, frustrated, debt piling up to my ear, didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. And it happened that God would have sent an angel. I call him an angel. I'm here in Jamaica, and he's all the way in Houston. And God sent him here to Jamaica, and I got a chance to meet him. And we had a conversation, and he said to me, at this time I was about 33 years old. So he asked me the question, and I was baffled. He asked me a simple question: what are my goals? And I'm like, goals? What are you talking about? I go to school to learn math and English and biology. They don't teach about goals in school. And so when he
Yeah,
asked me that question, I couldn't answer it at age 33, because I learned to go to school, you get your good grades, you get a job, you pay your bills, and you have that cycle going on. So when he asked me that question and I couldn't answer, I actually went home the night, because he was in Jamaica for a couple of days. I went home the night, went on Google and typed what are goals. And Google helped me, right? Because I learned what goals were, and I typed in the top 10 goals. And I copied those goals and I took them back to him the following day, because I think in the moment I realized if I didn't have goals, I would have lost out on an opportunity. And so
yeah.
I went and Googled it. I brought back a list to him, and he said, okay, great. Now we have something to work with. And it was that conversation and that intervention, I call it an intervention, that he started to coach me. And what I realized is that over time, some of the things that I Googled fell off the list as I started to grow and develop and to, connect with my own personal goals. And now that I understood better, I was able to, really sit and define my goals. And he worked with me, and I had to read books, and I did everything he said. I asked a lot of questions, and that experience for me is what brought me from that place of fear and frustration and debt to now sitting in a seat where I get to support women, because I personally know what it's like to feel the stress, to feel the overwhelmed, to feel the fear and not know what to do. And
Yeah.
so I held on to everything he said for dear life. I did everything he said. I went to all the conferences, I went to all the trainings. And over time, as I grew, I started to note and to journal my experience. And that's what I use as a tool now in my own coaching business to say to women, it doesn't matter where you are, and it doesn't matter what you're feeling and experiencing, there is more on the other side of this discomfort. So let us see
Yeah.
how we can figure that out and work together to make things happen.
Yes. And I love that because I really truly believe that we all should have goals that we push to. Honestly, the more is sort of impossible it seems
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the better.
yeah,
I've always been someone, I grew up thinking the same thing. I'm actually like a first generation entrepreneur. My mom did a little bit of Mary Kay when I was in high school, but that quickly went down like within a month. And that was it.
yeah.
Other than that, I have no one in my family who has done entrepreneurship at all that I know of.
Mm,
And I was always told the same thing: work, go to
yeah,
school, get
yeah.
a job, and stuff like that. Now, I really broke that cycle at the age of 12.
Somebody had to, right?
I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years now.
Mm,
I
yeah,
started when I was 12. So I get that with you're suddenly like, okay, well, what if I don't want to do that?
yeah, yeah.
And
And
that's how
that's a beautiful thing, because everybody have to realize that their experience is different, right?
Mhm.
Like you're saying, you didn't come from a family that is entrepreneurial and wanted to start businesses and own their own business, right?
Yeah.
But at some point you realize that, hey, this ain't gonna cut it. Like,
Yep.
I want my independence, I want to create, I want to be the one that make my own decisions. And you
Mhm.
stepped out and you did things differently. And that's what
Exactly.
life is really about: assessing where you are, asking yourself, where do I want to be in 5 to 10 years from now? And then being willing to do things differently in alignment with where we say we want to go. Because what you
Yeah.
find happening is that a lot of persons want things to change, but they don't want to change their habits and the behaviors that fosters, those things that they want. So it's
Yeah.
a really powerful conversation, and I mean, I get excited when we start talking about.
Yes.
Oof,
I
yeah,
get excited about it all too. I really do. I love entrepreneurship. I would not change a single thing about it. I
yeah.
just honestly I wish that there wouldn't be as much backlash.
Mm,
Because I
yeah.
mean I get it quite a bit still. People from church, my
Mm-hmm.
own family is like just like,
Yeah.
why do this? This
Yeah.
is just a temporary thing. This don't think that this is going to go huge, but I'm like, no, it's going to be big. We're going to
Absolutely.
make it big.
And
And
here's one other thing. Go ahead.
thank the Lord too, because if I kept on thinking that this was small, I would not be doing these calls.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's one other thing that I've learned along my journey is that the people that we expect the most support from are the
Hmm.
ones who don't get the support from.
Exactly.
And one other thing, someone reminded me some time ago, and I did believe one of my coaches that I listen to, she says it, Lisa Nichols, she always says, when God was giving you the vision, he gave it to you. He didn't
Yes.
give that vision to everybody. So now you now have to go out and do what is required for that vision to manifest. And the
Hmm.
people around you won't understand because they are used to the comfort of going through the same routine day in and day out,
Yeah.
right? But I guarantee you that on the other side, when they see you 10 years in and you're still there, I'm
Hmm.
sure they're sitting on the sideline saying, well, I'm happy Audrey didn't listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I just hope. And
Yeah,
that's what I believe. And
just keep
even
going.
and even if they still have a problem, then we are still going to go. We're
Yeah,
not going to stop
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
this is our mission. This is our God-given vision, and
Yeah.
we are going to see it through, and we are going to continue to follow in his works.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the thing, when I believe when God gives vision and dreams to people and businesses, it is not for us to sit on, because
Mhm.
somebody's waiting on you for their breakthrough, and you're sitting on knowledge and gifts and talents that people need. And so
Mhm.
unless you are obedient to the call of God for your business and for your life, man, we're gonna have to give an account for that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I agree. And I'm happy you started your business too. I've been following you a little bit and you're doing amazing stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm looking
thank
forward
you.
to seeing where you go.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I started my business, it was, again, as I said, it was with the intention of supporting other women like myself. Because I know what it feels like to feel lonely, to feel unsupported, to feel like you're hitting your head against a wall, to feel,
Mhm.
you're in debt and you don't know what to do. Some days you can't even breathe because the collectors are down your throat and somebody else needs to be paid and you don't know where the money is coming from. Your business is struggling, you don't know what to do. So I've had those days. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I had someone there as my guide to walk me through those discomforts. And
Mhm.
so I'm grateful now that I get to sit in a seat where I get to support women in their journey towards that life that they're trying to create. And for me, that's a great honor.
Yes, 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 yes. So now that leads to the next question. I've heard the term life coach so much.
Hmm.
So, kind of what, again, do you kind of teach on that? You've mentioned goals, you've mentioned a little bit of confidence and
Yeah,
stuff, but what do you
yeah.
kind of like do? How does that kind of look if we were in a coaching session with you? What does it kind
Hmm.
of look like?
Right. So, as a coach, I guide, I
Mhm.
support, I engage. I don't tell people what to do, right?
Mhm.
Because I think we're all adults and we know what to do,
Yeah.
right? The challenge is actually doing what we know we're supposed to do. So I help women, specifically women, to redefine and sometimes to define who they are and how they want to show up in this world. Like you're saying, you have your goal, you have your vision. Sometimes, or you have women who are in that phase where, boy, they're so confused because of life and challenges that they've lost sight of the vision they had. And then
Mhm.
you also have some women who've not yet sat down and say, what do I really want my life to look like 5, 10, 15 years from now? And
Yeah.
so sit with those women who you're unsure, you're unclear, you don't have the clarity, you're a little bit stressed and anxious about your financial situation, right? Your relationships are struggling because we're talking about time. You don't have the time to be intentional about spending it with your kids or spending it with your family or spending it with your partner. So we talk through those life situations, and what we do is that we create what I call a strategic life plan. And what that does is that we look at the different areas of your life, and I ask you questions in alignment with those areas. So if I should say to you, Audrey, what do you want to happen, or how do you see your financial life in the next 6 to 12 months? Right? You might say, well, I have a few credit cards I need to pay off. I need to top up on my emergency fund. I have some student loan debt, and you might say some stuff like that, and then based on the conversation I'll probably say something. All right, let's have a conversation surrounding where you are, because again, everybody's situation is an individual situation. There are no two situations that are the same. So I have conversations with you based on where you are, and a projection in terms of where you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months, in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years. And I guide you, right? So there are goals, yes, but then there are actions. What are you going to do now that you've set those goals? Or what are you going to do now that this is where you are, and this is where you are is not where you want to be? So what do you do? And so we develop a strategic plan, which means There are actions that you're going to take, and I'm going to hold you accountable to those actions. Because if you're connecting with why you need to do what you do, that's another big thing. Why do you need to get out of debt? Why do you need to manage your time better? Why do you need to manage your relationships better? Why do you need to work on your communication, right? Why do
Yeah.
you need to work on your negative mindset? So we deep dive into those conversations, and we come out of those sessions with actionable things that you are going to do before we meet again, because now we're developing a relationship and I'm going to be guiding you. So it means that I need to walk with you through this journey. So you are not alone, right? If you think of any great athlete, they all have a coach, right?
Yeah.
If you think of any student, they have to go to school to learn. They need teachers, right?
Yes.
So a lot of us, what I do is that I take my experience, and again, why I zone in on women is because I can relate to women. I can
Yeah,
relate
you are a
to
woman.
but right, I am a woman, so I can relate to you, and I use my own experiences as a foundation. Because again, I've been asking, women, what are your goals? And a lot of them still can't give me a goal, right? Because no one has ever taken the time to sit with you to say, these are my goals, this is where I want to go, I need help. And
Yeah.
so as a coach, as a life and a financial coach, I walk women through that process of defining and redefining themselves, defining their goals, and walking them through the experience of actually achieving those goals and becoming a new person. Because sometimes the goal is not that you're going to achieve the goal. The important thing is that is the person that you're going to become on your journey as you achieve those goals. It's an amazing experience to have somebody to walk with you. So one, you're not alone. Two, you're getting the support and the accountability, right? And three, you are actually doing things to achieve the life that you say you want. So it's an amazing experience.
Yes, and I love that because if you know my group, you
Yes.
know I love goals, and I have a daily or a weekly goal thing
Yeah.
for the week and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I love goals and stuff
Awesome.
like that. So I
Yeah, it
love
really
that
does
you
give you
do that.
direction. It motivates you. It centers you.
Mhm.
It gives you a reason to wake up in the morning, right? When you're
Yeah.
always going after something, working towards something. Also,
Mhm.
learning to be grateful in the moment and appreciating where you are. Because a lot of what another thing is that so many of us are not appreciative of where we are, because we think we needed to be 10 steps ahead or 5 steps ahead, right?
Yes.
May I just affirm that where you are is exactly where you need to be, right?
Mhm.
For what you need to do now. The
Yeah.
important thing is, what are you going to do? What's your next move? What's your next step? If it is that you want to work on your relationship, what's your next growth step? If you want to manage your finances, what is your next step? Right? If
Mhm.
you want to manage your health, what do you need to do now? So those are the conversations we have in alignment to you and where you are and where you need to grow.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you do. It's really great, and it's going to help so many people out and stuff.
That's the aim. That's the aim. I'm really just here to serve, and I love when I get the opportunity to connect with a woman, to connect with women, and thank you again for this opportunity to be able to share with your community. I'm absolutely grateful.
I'm grateful to you too. Thank you very much for giving some value. I love just giving this group value and helping teach other people how to do things better.
Yeah,
Not better, but like help give some more, like, not just golden nuggets of
yeah,
knowledge,
absolutely.
really. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah. So the topic of this is time management. So, what do you have to say about like managing more time? Again, you
Mm,
as a mom, especially to a teenage son, we all know teenagers always make plans.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. It ain't easy.
how do you manage that and being an entrepreneur? Because honestly, I need help.
Yeah, yeah, and it's time management is a big conversation, and the truth is, from where I'm sitting, you can't manage time. So it
Yeah.
means that there are some other things that you would need to start looking at and prioritizing, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna share with you 5 things, right?
Okay.
Just five simple things that if you make a slight adjustment in those areas, you'll be amazed at how things start turning around in terms of, looking at what are the things that you must do versus, the things that you're saying yes to. So let's look at it. One other thing, I believe I did a session sometime last year where I talked about mastering your time, you master your life. When you master your time, you master your life. But if we really should start the conversation, can we really manage time? Right?
Yeah.
For me, the answer is no. Somebody else might disagree, and that's okay. Right? But I don't believe we can manage time because you and I have no control over time. We can't pause the clock and say, all right, give me 5 minutes. Let me just breathe because
Yeah.
too much
I
is
wish.
happening now.
I wish that would
Right?
be
We
amazing.
wish, right? You can't put a day on pause because, oh my God, this is a bad day. So, you know what? I need a redo on this one. So, we can't manage time, right? But one other thing, the first thing I want to say to us is that when it comes to time, what we need to look at is how we prioritize what we do with time, right?
Mhm.
So, when I say prioritize, I mean, how are you spending your time? For somebody who I have a teenager, right? But somebody else, you have young kids, right? Others
Yeah.
have families, bigger families, right? Some of us are engaged and working on the relationship takes time. Some of us might even have a day job like me. I have a day job and I do coaching, right?
Mhm.
So I
And
can't
the
really,
mom.
and a mom, right? So I can't manage the time. I now have to just prioritize the things that are important, right? And again, keep in mind that managing prioritizing is based on what is important now,
Mhm.
right? Because there might be a season in your life where your family is priority, so your family is going to get some priority time. There might be another season, depending on where you are, especially a business person, where building the business is going to take priority. So it means that you need to have a conversation with your family to say, listen, I have to invest extra time. So it means that we're not going to be able to spend as much time together right now, but give me 2 months or give me 3 months or give me 5 months and then we're going to get back. So prioritizing your time means what is important to you now. And that's a question that you would have to ask yourself, right? And make note of your answer, journal your answer, because what is important to you, you naturally are going to find the time or create the time in your 24 hours, because we all have the same 24 hours, right?
Mhm.
So if something is a priority to you, it has to show up on your calendar. If
Yeah.
it's not for me, if it's not on my calendar, it's not important.
Yeah.
Right? And so I have my calendar, and if I should pull up my calendar and show you guys, it's all color coded and it looks pretty, right? Here's my
Yeah.
calendar, right? It has different color codes for different things because I have things on my calendar that are priority for me that I have to give attention to daily, weekly, monthly for this season that I'm in. So the first thing I would ask you to do is to sit and ask yourself, what is priority for me right now? Is it your business? Is it your relationships? Is it your health? Right? Is it your financial situation? Right? Is it your spirituality, your relationship with God? What's a priority for you right now? Get a pen, get a notepad, write it down. Don't leave it to memory. Right? So that's the first thing I want you to do. Can you manage time? No, you can't. So you know you need to prioritize. So what are your priorities? That's number one. Number two, right? The second thing I'd invite you to do is, I hear people talk a lot about multitasking. Can you really multitask? Again, for me, I say no, you can't multitask. Right?
Yeah. I get it. I
Right?
think
What
that
I
one is.
encourage persons to do based on your priorities again is that you have to start doing what we call time blocking, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's where the calendar comes in, because if you are committing 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours per day to a particular thing, you have to block out that time. And when I say time blocking, what I encourage persons to do is to time block in 90-minute segments. Don't block 5 hours and say you're going to just sit and work for 5 hours. After the first 90 minutes to 2 hours, your mind start check out. You need a break. You need a breather. You need to walk. You need to get something to drink. You need to stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
So do some 90 minutes time blocking on your calendar based on your priorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So for me, my my relationship with God is important to me. So the first thing on my calendar in the morning is quiet time, right? So I block the first hour of the day to wake up, read my Bible, do my reflections, do my decorations, have my prayer. That's my first hour of the day, because for me, my spiritual relationship with God is a priority, right? So you now need to look, now that you say these are areas are your priority, now you need to look at your calendar and find 90-minute time slots and block those in. So what that means, if it is that you're saying, well, for you do content writing, you're gonna do social media ads, or you're gonna do templates. So you block your first 90 minutes, right? And I know for you, Audrey, you have different clients. So the first 10 o'clock to 11:30, content creation, lifestyle buzz, or Kimberly, legacy coach Kimberly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give yourself a break after 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, right? Yeah. You give yourself a 10-15 minute break, and then you block another 90 minutes. And you don't block more than, say, 3 to 4 90-minute slots on your calendar. If you're full time, you can do more, right? Because it means that you have more time on your hand to play with. But for somebody who is not full-time and you have so many other things going, don't overcommit, because we're going to talk about boundaries in a little bit. All right. So look at 90-minute time blocking slots and see, based on your priorities, where on your calendar you can slot those in. Right. And let's say you're sitting to get a task done. Don't get up until you get it done, which means that you're on a time block, you're on a countdown, 90 minutes to get this done. And it also allows you to be more efficient with how you manage your time, because you're committing this 90 minutes to get this task out of the way for that particular day. All right. So that's the second thing I would encourage you to do. So first, you're going to prioritize, and then you're going to time block. The third thing you're going to look at is ask yourself, why have I been overcommitting? And when I say overcommitting, what I mean is that, why have I been saying yes to everything and to everyone that asked me to do something, even though I know I don't have the capacity? Right? Yeah. So when you look at your family time, your spiritual time, your work time, right? What are the things that you have said yes to that you know you don't want to do it? Some of it you really don't even want to do, but you want to please everybody. Yeah. Might I encourage you to start putting you first? Because, hey, if you become sick, if you become overwhelmed, if you become extremely tired and you have to take a few days, your business is going to suffer.
No.
So I encourage my clients, put yourself first. Don't overcommit. And here's where I think we fall short. We don't see self-care as a priority.
Yeah.
When you're overcommitting, you're compromising on self-care. And when you compromise on self-care, you're teaching the world how to treat you. Because if you're saying, I'm not a priority to me, then why should other people make you a priority?
Yeah, that's true. That's
right? So you have to look at the areas in your life where you are overcommitting, because we're all saying, oh my God, I need more hours. No, we don't need more hours. We just need to manage the ones that we have and be intentional about how we say, or we give out our yes. Because the truth is, for some of us, our yes or no have no meaning. Because we don't use the word no because we want to please everybody. In this life and in this season, let me encourage you and let me give you permission to start saying no.
Yep.
Yeah? Start saying no, because a lot of the things that you're saying yes to, you're overcommitting and you're putting yourself, your health, your peace of mind on the line.
Yes.
And my question on that would be, is it worth it? Because again, who suffers? You suffer, your business is going to suffer, your family is going to suffer. Is it worth it? Right? So that's the third thing you have to do. Look at how you've been overcommitting and kind of start pulling back on that. All right? That's the third thing. And then that leads us now into the fourth thing that you have to look at, which is to start to set some boundaries. And a lot of us don't like to hear the word boundaries because we're thinking restriction, we're thinking things we can't do. And here's the thing, when I just started learning about budget, because I do financial coaching, right? The moment people hear the word budget, what comes to their mind is limit. Oh my God, I can't spend my money. Oh my God, I can't enjoy myself. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But let me tell you, when I talk about the word budget now, what I'm saying is that I'm giving myself permission to spend my own money in a way that pleases God. So I'm taking on the responsibility as a good steward to manage my resources in a way that pleases God. Same thing when we talk about setting boundaries, right? Again, if it's important to you, you have to set some boundaries around it. So when you look at those priorities that you already decided, when you look at the time blocking that you've already decided, right? When you look at the fact that you've been overcommitting and you're not doing that anymore, now that you've set some parameters, now that you have some time blocking, now you need to start setting some boundaries around those times that you've allotted for different activities, right? So you know that 6 to 7 p.m. at night is your family time, is your dinner time. Don't say yes to something within that time frame.
Yeah.
Set some boundaries and communicate those boundaries to people that are around you so they know, right? Because if they don't know, you can't hold them to it.
Yeah.
Right? So when you set the boundaries around your time blocking periods, you know that if you have a 90 minutes now, you can't be on the phone for 20 minutes talking about social media and how great yesterday was and what you're going to wear on the weekend. Hello?
Yeah.
You plan your 15-20 minutes break for that kind of conversation. So now that you have to set some boundaries around the priorities that you would have already defined to say, I'm working within the confines of these times. These are the things that I'm going to be doing. And so communicate that with people around you so they know, right?
Yeah.
Like you have kids and persons who have younger kids. When your kids see that door closed, they know that it's office hour. They know that mom is working on something important.
Yeah.
Right? But the moment you get out of that and it's family time, don't be taking those business calls and those business texts and checking your business email within those times. Because
Yeah.
what you're saying to your family is that you're not that important right now.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to look at setting boundaries around the priorities that you've already decided. All right?
I love that.
And then the final thing I want to encourage you to do is be flexible. Be flexible. Now, yes, you've set the priorities, and yes, you're time blocking, so you're looking at time blocking, and yes, you're looking at your self-care and not overcommitting anymore and setting your boundaries around your priorities. But also, let me encourage you to be flexible. What does that mean? It means that not every 2 days is the same. Things happen, emergencies pop up, you have to change up things here and there. So you have to be flexible with your schedule. You know it's a priority. You know these are things you have to complete. But again, if and when life happens, as they say, roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Don't be so rigid on yourself and on the calendar because you made it, right? So
Yeah.
you can change it up a little bit, but again, always remember why you started what you started. Always remember the end goal. So if you
Yes.
set a goal, you set some priorities around those goals, you time block, you make these a priority. Yes, there might be one or two times when you have to be flexible. Not just with your calendar, but with your family, with your relationship, with all of these areas. But again, the important thing is that you recognize that you are the one that's in control and you are the one that gets to choose what happens.
Yes.
So the truth is, managing your time, mastering your life, it is possible, but we have to be willing to take on the responsibility to do these little things,
Yeah.
right? I guarantee you that if you look at these 5 things that I just shared and make some small tweaks in how you show up each day and be consistent with those small tweaks, you'd be amazed at what the next 21 days, 40 days, 90 days, 100 days will look like. As you start seeing the changes, now people are starting to respect you and to respect your time, right? Now people are starting to respect your boundaries that you've set. No, you are being intentional about putting yourself first because you realize that you are the first example of how the world is going to treat you. So you now are prioritizing you, which is spilling over into how you do business, which is
Mm-hmm.
spilling over into how your customers are satisfied, which is spilling over into how they do referrals because they're saying, "Oh my goodness, Audrey, she knows her time. She is efficient. She's reliable. She has some boundaries. I know when to call. I know when not to call. I know, So you get to set the pace for how you set up your business, run your family, show up for your job in all these areas of your life. I say you can't manage time, but you can manage how you go about, using your time and
Yeah.
being more efficient in what you do.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing those 5 tips. They are really, really great. And quite a few of those I'm going to have to apply a little bit more. It is a little bit hard with the time I'm right now as a single mom.
Yeah.
Right now, my fiance is not around.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there's things you mentioned that I can still apply.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
could
As I
really
said, there,
use and help do things,
yeah, man,
better.
just pick out those small things. Whatever is for you is for you. Because there are some people who are great at saying no, right?
Yeah,
But,
I'm
but
not one of those people.
right?
I'm working on saying,
Say,
I can't take any more clients.
mm,
Or, I'm sorry, I am working with another client. I will take care of this within the next few days
yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. And
And
I'm
here's
working on
one other
saying
thing, and
that
and
more.
this happens through coaching as well, is that as business people, as adult women, a lot of us have an issue saying no, because I had that issue saying no, and I thought I needed to give an explanation as to
Yes.
why I need to say no, right?
Yeah.
And so over time, my clients would have developed the confidence to realize that saying no to somebody else is really saying yes to me.
Mm.
And before, I used to have to explain, but now that I'm clear as to why I have to say no, I have no issue saying no. And my clients are going to respect me for that because they see where I'm putting me first so that I can serve them better. So the
Yeah.
intention behind it also comes into play as well.
Yeah. I like that, and that's a good thing. We have to learn how to say no. We
Have to
can't
learn to
do
say no.
everything and extra.
Absolutely.
So I love that. I really do.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
And I also like your idea of time blocking, because I like to personally also, I use the Pomodoro technique
Mm-hmm.
when I work, where I get to work for 25 minutes and then I take a small 5-minute break. And I like your idea of sitting for a task for 90 minutes, because sometimes I'll work that 25 minutes doing one thing, then I'll go and hop to another. Not because I'm
Yes.
trying to break it up, but because I feel like I need a break, but then I am
Yeah.
not focusing enough.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I
And
like
so
that.
when you do the shorter time frames, what you find, like you're saying, is that you have 6 things unfinished.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that again causes a little bit of overwhelm, because you're like, oh my God, I need to finish this and this and this, and this person
Yeah,
needs to
it's
get
like,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And then,
But
oh, I
when you,
forgot about this. This has been sitting here for 3 days, and I have like
correct,
5 minutes left on this and stuff like that.
correct,
So yeah, I
correct.
do run into that problem occasionally. I've been working on not doing that as much, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem like a very good strategy. It worked for me because I'm very fast at my work.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I get things done within that 25 minutes. But I've been taking on larger tasks recently, and
Correct.
that's not working with me anymore. So
Yes, larger task, but also remember that your customer base is expanding as well. So you're taking on
mm-hmm.
more clients as well, which is
Yes.
more work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which again, you don't want to have so many things unfinished, because
Yes,
again, that's a recipe for overwhelm.
definitely. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing those 5 techniques with us. I love them. So I also know you have this program coming up soon. You want to
Yes.
share all about that? I can
Oh
see
my
the
God.
excitement there. I am excited too.
Right. So yeah, I mean, thank you so much again for the opportunity to share. And I do pray, like you're saying, you're listening to some of these, and some of these you can implement. And that's really the
Yeah.
idea, just so that I can support, and share, and share tools and tips that you can use to improve your efficiency, and in return improve your business processes.
Yes.
So I lead a 10 weeks group program for women. And what that looks like is that I take 8 women. So it's not a large group by any means, because I love to be small, intimate, and very impactful, because I
Yeah.
want to connect with each person that goes through my program. And so I'll do a 10 weeks group program. We meet every week for 10 weeks within those times. So it's a group of 8 women that come together on Zoom weekly. And within that 10 weeks, I also do one or maybe 2 one-on-one sessions. So we get to deep dive into your life and your financial issues, because some conversation you can't have in a group setting, right? So we go through a 10-week period. And what I do is that I help women to reconnect with the truth of who they are. Because like you're saying, and like a lot of women are saying, they get overwhelmed by life and money
Yeah.
decisions. So if it's not the debt, it's the relationship. If it's not the relationship, it's the health. If it's not the health, it's the finances. If it's not the finances, it's the fact that, oh my God, I don't have enough time, and I don't get to spend time with God, and all of that. So I take women who are in that space of overwhelm and fear and frustration. I take you through a process of 10 weeks where I share tools and strategies, and I do coaching on the spot, and you get to become a part of a community. I tell you, second to none, right? And so I take you through a 10 weeks program, and at the end of 10 weeks, I'm looking for my plan here. At the end of 10 weeks, I help the women to create their own strategic life plan.
Cool.
Right? And what this is a document that helps you to define who you are. So you get to redefine who you are, right? How you want to show up in this world. So we look at things like your purpose statement. What's your mission? What's your vision? How are you going to execute that? We look at who am I? Because again, we lose ourselves in the roles that we play, in the jobs that we do, in the businesses that we start, and we forget that, I really love salsa dancing, or I really
Mm-hmm.
just sit and have conversations, or I really love just take a moment and spend with my son. So we lose the essence of who we are in the jobs that we play. And
Yeah.
so I help women to reconnect with themselves, right? To regain the confidence, right, in themselves and in their own abilities. Right. I help you to look at your finances, to deep dive into your finances. And for some who are struggling with debt, and persons don't even have an emergency fund in place, right? So we look at those, we deep dive into those, we help you to set up your emergency fund. You know, some persons within the first 45 days, they start experiencing a positive cash flow, because we know people who just live paycheck to paycheck. You know, there's no plan for the money. We go into, you know, where your money is going, what it is doing. We have all of that conversation. We look at the different areas of your life. So whether it's your health or your finances or we look at all the different areas of your life, and you get to define how you want that area of your life to look. So you talked about goal setting when we just started. So you get to set goals in different areas of your life. And one of the powerful thing I did with the last group is that I get them to write a letter to their future self. You know, what does the 2024 version of Audrey look like? Right? If you could sit down and define that version, what does it look like? Because here's the truth, the goals that you're going to be setting has to be in alignment with the 2025 version of you. And so once you can define that, then we can work back ways to say, all right, this is how we're going to achieve that. So I help you to go from overwhelm and frustration to clarity, and having a strategic plan, a clear plan, a roadmap for both your life and your finances in 10 weeks. You get to be a part of community. You get to get one-on-one coaching as well. All the sessions are recorded, so you get to connect with the replays. And I mean, the testimonials, I've been sharing some of the testimonials on social media. The testimonials have been so powerful. You know, I remember one of the clients saying, you know, she feels like a whole new person, you know, because after going through loss, her husband died. She was diagnosed with cancer. She beat cancer one time, two time. You know, it's just like people really get the time to pause and just think about themselves. Because a lot of us women, we don't do that, because we are all things to all people. We want to make sure the family is okay, the business is okay, our friends. We check on everybody else, but who checks on us? So I get you in a space for 10 weeks. I look at you, I put the mirror up, and you look at yourself. And if where you are is not where you want to be, you get an opportunity to join me in that community for 10 weeks, and let's redefine what your 2025 version of you is going to look like. And we walk through the process of creating that together. So it's a powerful community.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I really do. I love, like we've mentioned, I love goals. And I love it when people actually achieve them and work towards those goals and actually have a plan to get to them.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like you and me are on the same page too, about you kind of have a goal in mind of who you want to be, and then you kind of work backwards from that. And
Absolutely.
I love that, because it is a good method and it's very helpful. And just like I said, the more impossible it seems, better.
Absolutely.
So speaking about that, what is your impossible goal for your business?
Impossible goal for my business is
or in life, and in life, whatever ones.
And in life, impossible goal for my business and in life.
And I say that impossible lightly, but
right.
What is your goals? What are you wanting to aim for?
One other thing I have in my a letter to myself, you know. I don't know if you guys can see this as a letter to self, right?
Yeah.
One other thing I have there is to host a women's wellness retreat here in Jamaica.
You should. That's when you were saying the 10-week program, that's the first thing that popped into my mind. I was like, she needs to start a retreat of some sort.
Absolutely. So that's
to go to Jamaica.
That's a big goal. And I've already started talking to some women, and they're like, yes, we're ready to go. Yes. So I think that's my next step, to have the women who go through that 10 weeks to all come together in one space, and we continue the work of personal development, because that's another thing. Personal development never stops. And you can do a program, you can get great results, but if you stop doing the work, you go right back to where you were. And so as a student of life, we have to be willing to be consistently investing in ourselves as women, right? I know it's difficult for us to take up that money and invest in ourselves. But
Yeah.
I tell you that it's the best investment you'll ever make, because you
Yeah.
become a better mother, you become a better wife, you become a better um, person in your relationship, you become a better business person, you become a better steward of your finances. When you invest in yourself and you grow, you're investing in your community, you're
Yeah.
investing in your family, you're investing in a social space that the returns are going to come back to you tenfold, because how you're going to show up is going to impact the world in such a big way that you cannot afford not to invest in yourself, because others are waiting on you for your light to shine so that they can be and do more.
Exactly, exactly. I agree. And eventually something like a large scale, like if you whatever you had a $3,000 program, or you went and joined in a coaching program and it was like whatever, however much it is. You know what? You have finances you can cut in different areas.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can like cut, like if you go to McDonald's every day, or you go and get coffee
absolutely.
every single day, or
Absolutely.
even over
And
time, those small things add up.
those, yes, and each time I deep dive into somebody's finances, I see where they are leaking money without even knowing it, because of the
Yeah.
habits that we've formed over time. And
Mhm.
so that's a part of the conversation as well, because I have to deep dive. I have to be a good steward of, when you come into my program, I have to ensure that you get all the tools that you need to make
Yes.
better decisions going forward. And so one of the things that we do is that we do a deep dive into your financial life to see, because if you're making good money, right,
Mhm.
where is that money going, right? Or if
Yeah.
you're not making enough money, what else can you do to subsidize that income so that more money can keep coming in? So the
Yeah.
conversation is not a one-off conversation. It's based on where you are, right? But the
Mhm.
important thing is that we deep dive into that finances to see where your money is going, where your investments are, what returns are you getting on those investments. Like you're saying, every day we buy Starbucks. Like you're saying, some people's habit is smoking. Other
Mhm.
people's habit is having a drink here and there. Other people's habit is eating out, so we don't do a lot of meal prepping, which saves a lot of money. So we deep dive into your personal finances to see where you are, where your money is leaking, plug those gaps, right?
Yeah.
Because again, if you say you want things to be different and you want to create legacy, and you want to, you want to make sure you have your emergency fund in place, and you want to get out of debt, and you want to live and give like no one else can, if those are your commitments, then it means that your habits will have to change in alignment with those commitments. So those are the conversations that we deep dive to kind of get you into a better space of how you're showing up. But again, it starts with you recognizing that if you don't invest in yourself, who is going to do it?
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't invest in yourself, how are you going to grow in your finances, in your relationships, in your spirit? You need to take the time to invest in you first,
Yeah.
so that you can become the version of yourself that will impact the world for God, for
Yes.
good.
Yes, exactly. Yep. I love that. I really do. So where do you see yourself at the end of the year? I know I'm sorry, we just talked about your impossible goal, and now
Yeah.
I'm just curious kind of where you're going to where you think you're going to end this year.
And this year, again, because my group is targeted towards small numbers, right?
Mhm.
And so a big goal for this year is to impact at least minimum 30 women. Minimum 30 women. And some might say 30 for the entire year. Again, I'm not trying to save the world. I'm trying to impact life, because when I impact 30, it means that I'm impacting a whole generation behind them. And those
That's true.
generations would be impacting as well. So it is to plan and execute at least 4 per quarter, at least 4 groups, 1 per quarter, right? And
Mhm.
take women through this process to define and redefine who they are, so that at the beginning of 2024, when they show up powerfully, confidently and clearly knowing who they are and where they are going, and have the clarity around how to get towards those big goals. So that's where I'm looking, just to be able to be in the space where I get to support women to take them from fear and frustration to peace of mind and clarity surrounding their life and their finances.
Yeah. And I like that too, how you said that you're leaving more of an impact. You're not leaving an impact on the world, but you're leaving an impact for the next generations.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
is very true. You can make a change today
Yeah.
and stuff, but it takes work to actually change like generations
Absolutely.
to come. And I love
Absolutely.
that. I love what you
Absolutely.
do. And I really look forward to seeing where you take this. I really do.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so, so much again. Thank you for the conversation tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Of course.
And I look forward to other opportunities to serve this community. So persons can reach out to me. I'm a part of the community. They can reach out. You know,
Yes.
if they're interested in hearing more about the program, just shoot me a message or comment on this video, or and either you or myself will reach out to them and get them more information. So thank you again.
Of course. And I have her group also. You guys can join her group up in the descriptions and stuff. This will be a replay in the group. It will also go on my YouTube and on my website. So you guys can check them all out there and stuff, as well as any of the other Q&As I've hosted in the past. And if you yourself are interested in doing Q&A like this and want to give some value, like
Yes.
Kimberly has tonight, and like we have in all my other Q&As, I would love for you to come on. And all you have to do is message me or book a call with me. So other than that, join Kimberly's group, get to talk to her, and thank you so much, Kimberly, for coming live with us.
Thank you
And
too. Thank you too.
if anyone needs anything, just leave it down in the comments or message either one of us. We will be more than happy to get you where you need to go.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Thank you again, Kimberly, so much. It was great to have you.
Great to be here. Bless you.
I look forward to seeing where you go.
Alrighty. Bless you too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.